shiny, plastic, black mirror fascist, obsessed capitalist. Are you feeling guilty Catholic? Pretty, picturesque Facebook status, happy family and happy marriage, like the magazine pages, superimposed with Photoshop and happy faces, where cancer doesn't exist and your daddy lives for ages, and the black babies with the swollen bellies are only moments on your telly until you switch it off and put your makeup on. So walk your dog vegan and put your makeup on, posing perfectly pouting and put your makeup on. Hypocrite, selfie, snowflake nation, not making a difference, not voting, not independence, cause it's irrelevant to how your hair grows. You're pretty, and it's a pity that you're prepared to perpetuate your particulars on Instagram and prefer not to educate and overcomplicate an avocado, like you know the answers to the problems of this world. Meditation and mindful. How about realistically having kids to feed on minimum wage and suicidal without letting your wife know? Cause I don't kill myself for fashion, not a psycho for the sake of it. Hate the name of it, and really ashamed of it. I hate your glossy, double tongue, so in circle, talky, trashy magazine, like Sebastian's dreams. Your friends are just old plastic, and it's lonely out there. I don't care about your implants or artificial intelligence, agony ends, chitty chat irrelevance, designer shirt and pants. So keep on spending, goodbye pretty people, it's such an ugly ending. Keep pretending, keep on telling yourself that you're so important, like everyone else, like everyone else, like everyone else. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty. Fight for your rights, but you die to lose.
Goodbye, pretty people, I'll miss you. All your little giggling and self-serving circles, self-absorbed, oh shallow surface, all that fucking money and totally worthless, in entirety distractive. A life without purpose, your embodiment is everything wrong, emboldened by a Harvey Nicks arrogance, echo chamber, industrial multiplier, factory line features and adjusted plastic artifice, cosmetically cybernetic immortality activist agents. Away with your moisturizing skin armor nonsense, swigging beard lotion against a Georgian backdrop. One sleeves tops are a symptom of civilization in decline. Beggars rocking £100 traders with metallic shell toes. Designer baby accessories with perfect lips and a pre-birth sense of what looks fucking fabulous. It's ridiculous, marvelous, purebred, beautiful offspring of the embassy, laughing at the wannabes that think that greed is power. The hours tick by and all you want is everything endless. You are now living in the culture with a locust consumer, target population, proof of fashion, housing, online grooming saloons. Pretty primitive class, deadly privilege picking flesh from the populace fast. The terrorist victim look is this year's heroin chic. Superior models to snap to pop-up bomb sites, pop-up prescription antidepressants, propping up debris arranged artistical splatter patterns. Little ray of ignorant exception at the tipping point. You drag to the ground by the team's of natural selection. We defecate upon your form, prone upon your back and bleeding in round the scissor man. Snicker, snack. Your entrified empathy, ultimately empty, dead heart, pretty face, piss upon your memory.
Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people.
Well, what is up, everybody? Merry Christmas. Alma, making me laugh. Oh. Hey, sometimes I play some Paisa music too. There's nothing wrong with that. Damn Mexicans. Yep, thanks for joining us. I had some free time. I usually celebrate mainly on Christmas Eve, and then early the morning of Christmas, we do stuff with the wife side of the family. So I got some free time. I think she's in a food coma, and kids seem to be occupied with gifts. So we'll probably hang out for about an hour. I spent about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours early morning before anybody woke up, kind of putting this information together. So I hope you enjoy it. We will be looking into some news. I like to play some true crime news before we get into any type of case discussion. Usually the cases have some similarities involved. But today I ran into something I wanted to share. It's basically a predator alert out of Kokomo, and a lot of strange similarities with this case as well around the time of the murders. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one here. And all this news is within days. So
some children that wouldn't have a Merry Christmas, but we're working with the victim and Polk Sheriff Charities. And the reason this 8 and 11-year-old girl wouldn't have a Merry Christmas is because of this guy. He's a Grinch. We always have to have one, right? There's always one Christmas week that wants me to present them as this year's 2021 Christmas Grinch. Now, obviously, this guy's got eggnog for brains because we have video of him breaking into this house. And let me tell you what happened. At about 7:30 on December the 20th, Mom, a single mom, leaves the house. And at 7:47, just a few minutes later, guess who arrives? Old Grinch himself. Grinch is driving this newer model 4-door dark-colored vehicle. He pulls up, and he goes in and begins to steal packages from under the tree. Okay, eggnog for brains here steals the children's gifts.
I love that. Eggnog
They're
for
only
brains.
8 and 11. In addition to that, you see he's sneaking through the house, right? He's in the house. If you notice that plastic in the background, Mom's having some work done on the house, but he's in the sneak mode, you know? And he's sneaking while he's carrying her laptop, her work laptop. He also steals a 36-inch TV. He makes several trips in and out of the house. Well, you say, well, why doesn't the neighbors say something? Well, I wish that they had, but she's had some workers there in and out of the house.
Yeah, Callie, I don't like those laws.
When the
California
dude
law.
leaves with the packages, you see, at Christmas time, the way things go, you bring wrapped packages into the house. But I guess that they might have thought that he was taking the wrapped packages.
I've been shot at by a woman one time
someplace else.
during road
Well, in
rage.
fact, he was. He was stealing them and taking them home with him. We need your help. Just think about this. He stole $1,600 worth of items from that house. Crime Stoppers will pay you $2,500 green cash just to tell us who this dude is.
Fresh look,
That's
TTM
right.
fangirl.
Get
You have
another
the
look at him.
advantage.
We're also going to release a video clip. This is called The Grinch from Christmas 2021 with Eggnog Brain. And we want him in jail.
Yeah, some can be
Our
scary.
goal is to recover the Christmas presents. If not, Polk Sheriff Charity.
Mandy, one time I seen a girl threaten a 6'2", 240-pound man with a knife. I never seen somebody. I swear he went and cried to his mom. I was scared. I never talked to that person again. And then after that happened, I started asking my friends, like, did you know such and such was crazy like that? And they're like, yeah. And then they all had their own stories. I was like, God damn.
Is going to work with victim's mom. But if you saw something suspicious in the Longfellow Boulevard area, which is East Lakeland, please call Crime
Yeah.
Stoppers.
I mean, we're not going to
If
be
you
raped or
recognize
anything.
this dude, make yourself $2,500, and Crime Stoppers will.
If I lived in California, I would still, if I was walking anywhere or even driving, I would still carry a gun on me. I just wouldn't break the law. You know what I mean? Especially if I was even just walking around the block and I'm a female and it's, starting to get dark out. I mean, I know the laws there, you can't conceal carry, but there's a lot of laws that you can't do. But your life is worth it. Like, don't let those liberal laws affect your life.
Say Merry Christmas to you. Our goal,
What's up, Joe?
and your goal, should be to work with us so that our wonderful detectives will give him a Christmas present. It's called
Too
a
sneaky.
Polk County Jail ID card, as we book him in and put him in jail for Christmas Day. That's where we want him, in jail for Christmas Day. I
Casey
appreciate Polk
Anthony,
Sheriff
gross.
Charities and our Polk Sheriff Charity team working together so that we can reconstruct these children's Christmas. They're going to wake up on Christmas with a wonderful Christmas Day present. I want him to wake up in the county jail on Christmas. Give me that for my Christmas present, please.
That's a nice gift.
He kicked the front door open, pulled up in front of the house, kicked the door open, and started grabbing presents from under the tree. Now, I understand that he didn't have a sheriff on a shelf, or
Crazy.
we'd have been watching out for him that day. So, in any event, that's why we need you to help us with Crime Stoppers.
I always have a
We'll
concealed
put
weapon on me.
the Grinch in jail. We'll recover the presents. We'll hold him accountable for his outrageous conduct to steal any times horrific, to steal from an 8 and 11-year-old child out from under the Christmas.
Yeah, public, it's crazy out here. Somebody will just run up to your car or let's say you cut somebody off, they'll cut you off, they'll cut you back off, run you off the road, and then come at you with a bat, or just fire guns at you recklessly. Like, if you're not prepared, or robberies in big cities, people will walk up to you and just rob you at gunpoint. Like, they'll turn the biggest man into a baby, like right in front of their wives. Like, get on the ground, motherfucker. Stuff like that. Pardon my language. But they'll threaten you. They'll take all your stuff. They'll take your wallet. They'll take your watch. If you have nice shoes, they'll take your shoes. Like, it's horrible. So if you're holding a gun and you have one in the chamber, if somebody comes up to you and starts threatening you and putting a gun in your wife's face, you can pull your gun out and you can shoot them right in front of your wife. So would you rather look like a coward and a victim, or would you rather be a hero? It's up to you.
This tree is horrible. The television came from Mom's bedroom. The laptop was
What's up, Big
a
Daddy?
business
Merry
laptop.
Christmas,
But
gang.
the presents, all wrapped up in his arms here, were the baby's presents for Christmas.
Plus, I don't go to California. I hate that state.
We have every reason to believe that. Keep in mind, there were people in and out doing some work.
Yeah,
So we don't know
he
if
wouldn't
it's a
play
friend of
around.
a friend or a friend of an employee. We'll be following all of that up. Our detectives.
A lot of these detectives in the big cities too, from that they feature on the First 48, those guys are really good. I wonder how many of them guys have taken a look into the Delphi murders. You know, I'd like to see what their opinion is.
Are working, but arresting him is one thing. Trying to recover the presents at this time, usually that's very difficult. That's why our charity is not waiting to see if we can recover the presents. We're going to make the children whole for Christmas, because that's what Santa Claus wants. Santa Claus wants children to have presents on Christmas, and they are in Polk County. And I'm asking Santa community to give Grady Judd a Christmas present. This guy, I want him in jail on Christmas.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not getting robbed.
Any other questions?
I might die with somebody attempting to rob me.
Certainly, we never say never. We don't have any pattern of activity right now. Normally, even our well-meaning crooks and criminals understand that we're hyper vigilant this type of year.
It's not bad. I just don't like the laws.
We're hyper vigilant to make sure that we look out for people who are receiving Christmas presents. Hey, Christmas is special to all of us. The holidays are special to all of us. And we want everyone to have a wonderful Christmas. And, I really want, this dude here to have a wonderful Christmas meal in the county jail. Okay?
No, not really. I think people get away with more.
I must tell you the truth, that when you look at this guy as he's sneaking through a stranger's house, stealing their stuff, it makes me so angry. I could eat the pine needles off a Christmas tree. I cannot stand
so
people
nuts.
taking stuff that doesn't belong to them. And you know what?
And if you want to
I'd
do,
like to arrest him.
like, if you're going to do crime, like, don't have a gun or don't have a weapon on you. Like, if you can do like a smash and grab and you're not going to hurt me or anybody around me or attack anybody, whatever. But don't come into a place with like a weapon, and don't be threatening like women and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff, like, you might get shot if that happens in front of me. If you pulled a knife out on somebody. But yeah, if you're running around snatching registers out of a 7-Eleven, I mean, good luck with that. I mean, it's gonna be hard to hide running down the street. But I guess they get away with it.
But I'd like to. Okay? Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone.
That's crazy, Mandy. So that's the first article and news I wanted to show you. The next three are more true crime news.
Live, the news on NBC6 starts now.
And now at 5:30, a South Florida man is behind bars after police say he shot and killed a real estate agent. NBC6 reporter Marcine Joseph, she caught up with neighbors and is live from Coral Springs with their reactions and the details. Marcine.
Yeah, that's right, Carlos. Police arrested 51-year-old Raymond Reese for allegedly shooting and killing local real estate agent Sarah Tross. I spoke with a neighbor who says that this whole thing is just very shocking.
It's a wonderful neighborhood. Unfortunately, this happened. Completely shocked the neighborhood. Shocked us.
A tragedy right before the Christmas holiday rattling this Coral Springs neighborhood. Ruben Cipriani tells me he heard gunshots Thursday afternoon and knew something bad happened.
I came outside to see what happened. I talked to the guys. I was like, that sounded like gunshots. They're like, yeah, we think it was. So we saw the the white Jeep parked up there with the engine still on. Nobody was in the front seat, so I leaned over to see if there was any broken glass or anything. And when I got a little closer to the vehicle, I saw the blood on the floor.
Cipriani says he immediately called 911. Police arrived to the 500 block of 48th Court and found 40-year-old Sarah Tross shot multiple times inside the car. The real estate agent and owner of 1% Liz Soflo Realty Group died at the scene. Police say 51-year-old Raymond Reese is responsible for pulling the trigger. Cipriani says Reese lived right next door.
I don't know much about him. He was my neighbor. We were on friendly terms. So it's kind of shocking, to see this all go down.
Later in the day, Reese was found and arrested in Palm Beach County. Cipriani says this tragedy is heartbreaking, especially because tomorrow's Christmas.
Especially around Christmas, I feel bad for, I believe it's Sarah Trost. Yeah, I feel bad for her family. I pray for them, and we just hope some sanity comes out of this.
Truly heartbreaking, and Raymond Reese is currently behind bars in West Palm Beach County and will be brought here to Broward County to face those murder charges. Reporting live in Coral Springs, I'm Marcine Joseph, NBC 6 News.
Crazy. All right, now this one is very disturbing. So viewer discretion advised on this one. This one kind of made me feel a little weird. All right. But we are a true crime channel, so I think we can handle
it. An 11-month-old girl. Justin Miller pleaded guilty to murder for the death of Mercedes Lane. Her remains were found in some woods back in August. He was babysitting the baby girl when he backhanded her when she started crying. That caused her to hit her head on the wall. She died the next day, and Miller buried her in those woods. If the judge accepts the plea deal, Miller will be sentenced sometime in January. He faces up to 65 years in prison.
Sorry to hear that, Alma. Yeah, I hate hearing stories like that. I don't deal with tragedy well, so I think I just kind of shut down or go into denial. All right, this is going to be the last piece of news. Like I said, everything that I've shown you as far as news is pretty breaking. It's within a day or two. And then we will get into a predator alert at a Kokomo.
Very protective his whole life. He was a correctional officer for years.
He was 24-year-old Elias Otero, shot to death, police say, in his own driveway, trying to protect his younger brother.
They took everything from us.
Investigators say February 11th, Elias's younger brother met a girl online. He picked her up in a red Lexus. It turned out to be a setup.
My youngest son was carjacked, and they wanted more than my car. They wanted his jewelry. They stripped him down. They took his credit cards, whatever money he had on him, but they wanted more money.
Police say 17-year-old Adrian Avila and 18-year-old Annabella Dukes forced Elias's little brother to drive to Elias's home in southwest Albuquerque, telling Elias they had his brother at gunpoint and wanted cash. Elias, a former corrections officer at MDC, had just taken a job with the Postal Service. He came out of the house and threatened to shoot the suspects. Police say that's when Avila shot and killed Elias. His little brother managed to get away.
It was very traumatic for all of us, and it's something we're going to have to live with for the rest of our lives.
Now the Otero family is desperate to find the teens police say carjacked one son and killed the other.
Our voices need to be heard. These families are suffering. This violence, it needs to stop.
Albuquerque police are now looking for two teens wanted for the murder of a brother and son.
So yeah, that's pretty sad. So the younger kid apparently met a female online who was just setting him up. She was being used to catfish him with another person. They tried to carjack him. Then after they carjacked him, it still wasn't enough. So then they called the brother and held the younger brother for ransom. I was like, what the hell? Like, how crazy do you got to be that you're that young and you're doing that? Like, how crazy can you be? All right, I'm gonna have to share my screen on this one. For some reason, the video didn't load up properly. Like I said, I just put all this stuff together this morning. All right. So the reason I'm sharing this one was out of this all happened early 2017, but he wasn't locked up and charged until 2018, and he kind of looked like the younger Sketch. So I was like, you know what? It's still interesting. So, and then more information came out about him that he's actually wanted right now. So he hasn't registered in a while. So I think he was let out on early release, and they're trying to revoke that. So there's a warrant out for his arrest. So I wanted to kind of put it out there. If anybody's seen this person, let's take a look. This is out of the Kokomo Tribune. This was posted May 17th of 2017, titled "Kokomo Man Arrested for Child Molestation." A Kokomo man was arrested for child molestation and possession of child pornography. Explicit images and conversations with the 13-year-old girl were allegedly found on his cell phone. Matthew A. Turner, 19, was arrested on a warrant for 2 counts of child molestation, level 3 and level 4 felonies, possession of child pornography, possession of a handgun without a permit, and theft, all level 6 felonies. According to a probable cause affidavit, during the early morning of February 8th, the girl's parents allegedly found Turner with the juvenile in her bed. After initially believing Turner had left the house, the girl's father then found him under the bed. An argument between the two ensued, and Turner left the house while the juvenile's father was calling 911, documents state. Turner's jacket was found outside the girl's window, and it allegedly contained a handgun that was discovered to be stolen from the girl's father. The girl's parents also found Turner's cell phone. Investigators with the Howard County Sheriff's Department obtained a search warrant for the contents of Turner's cell phone, the affidavit stated. And it went on to say, the text messages between the 13-year-old and Turner were of sexual nature. The messages indicated that the two had engaged in sexual acts in the past and talked about performing them again. The cell phone also allegedly contained images of the 13-year-old girl. Turner was arrested at 10:45 a.m. Tuesday at the Howard County Sheriff's Department, where he is being held at the jail on $50,000 bond. Okay, so this looks like one of his registration records. Gives you his age at the time here, 22. Race white, sex male, eyes brown, height 5 foot 7 inches, hair brown, weight 135 pounds. Let's zoom in here on his identifying marks here. It says scars, marks, and tattoos. He has a scar on his stomach. States here it was caused by a cut. He has another one on his face caused by his glasses. Excuse me. He has a tattoo on his left forearm that reads BSBK, all capitals. He has a tattoo on his left arm of a cross, approximately 4 inches long. Tattoo on his right arm, partial sleeve, including what says here 90s baby and the number 765. So I'm not sure if that's an area code. I'll look into that right now. And he also has a tattoo on his upper right arm. It says here it's a sunset image with the numbers 33063. I don't know if that's a zip code, possibly. I'm not sure. And then he also has a tattoo on his right forearm that reads Heather, and it's vertical. And it appears that there is an update in regards to Matthew Turner. It looks like as of April 7th of 2021, there was a warrant issued out for his arrest. The warrant states petition to revoke suspended sentence. So I thought that was interesting. So, yep, as of right now, he's a free man. He was free during the Delphi murders. And what's strange is he left his coat. So he stole the gun from the homeowner, who was the father of his victim. But he left the coat. Like, why are you leaving? Why would you leave your coat? Did you plan to? Yeah, he did look pretty shady. Willis. Yep, Bruce Willis. Greatest Christmas movie of all time. Thanks, Karen. Merry Christmas to you. I appreciate that. Okay, before we get into some Delphi case discussion, we'll play some videos and we'll look into, we'll analyze some images. But first, we're going to look at the Ashley Ouellette case, and then we'll get your opinions on that.
"15 years ago today, a passing driver made a horrific discovery on Pine Point Road in Scarborough, the body of 15-year-old Ashley Ouellette. Family and friends now hoping this anniversary prompts someone with information about Ashley's killer to come forward. WMTW News 8's Shernay Williams is live in studio to explain. Shernay?
Steve, that's right. Dozens of people gathered outside of Ashley's high school tonight to celebrate her life and put her story back in the public eye in hopes of solving this cold case. A throng of people line up in front of Thornton Academy in Saco. Some holding flameless candles, others wearing purple, Ashley Ouellette's favorite color.
It was a short life, but she made obviously big impressions on a lot of people.
Ashley's mother, Lisa, overwhelmed by support from the community 15 years after Ashley's death.
That's comforting that people still think about her.
The teenager was last seen at the house of two of her friends back in 1999. Her body was found early the next morning. That case still unsolved.
You think about what could have been. You can't always be that way, but you can't help it. You're a mother.
Andy Presby, a childhood friend, says the bench dedicated to Ashley in front of the school should serve as a reminder to other teenagers.
You want to know where your kids are, and for this very reason, I mean,
yeah.
You know, Ashley's
can
mom
answer
thought
some
she
of
was
those
going
questions
one place,
today
and
if you want.
she wasn't, and that's really unfortunate.
Other physical reminders are scheduled.
What up? Merry Christmas, brother. Welcome.
Scarborough Public Works is donating the road's stake to be able to put it up on Pine Point Road.
And although the memories are fresh and painful,
I just found it so hard to believe that somebody could have hurt that girl. I still get upset when I think about it.
loved ones are hoping state lawmakers consider the need for Maine's first cold case homicide unit.
You've got somebody out there who's still out there today And it's not just my case, it's other cases.
And for Ashley's family, they hope for closure.
Lots of times teenagers keep secrets because that's what you do. But now
Thank you,
they're
Mandy.
30 years old.
Did you get that zip code
And
also?
many of them are parents.
I haven't had a
It's
chance
time
to
if
look them
somebody
up.
knows something, they really need to step up.
And more on that cold case unit. Ashley's mother mentioned a bill creating the homicide unit in the Department of the Attorney General is making its way through committees at the state capitol. That law is sponsored by Representative Stephen Stanley. Live in the studio, Shanae Williams, WMTW News 8.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of this case, so I wanted to share it with you guys. I figure really what I do is I spend, I'll jump online and I'll start looking into cases, cold cases, anything prior to 2016, and anything that I find, I just kind of document it so that I can include it in the live later. So really, when I do these lives, it's really just my research and how I spent, my true crime morning, or spent time looking into true crime and information. So that's what this information is, and these are the things that I was looking into today. But let's take a look. We'll finish up here. This one has a little more details. Like I said, you can simply punch in her name, Ashley Ouellette, and this is still unsolved. So if you want to kind of take a look into this and you think you might be able to help, it's definitely interesting.
15 years ago today, a passing driver made a horrific discovery on Pine Point Road in Scarborough, the body of 15-year-old Ashley Ouellette. Family and friends now hoping this anniversary prompts someone with information about Ashley's killer to come forward.
Police say she was strangled. Police have interviewed hundreds of people, but still need a little more information to make an arrest. Chris Costa spoke with state police and Ashley's friends and family. And Chris, where does this case stand right now?
Well, Amanda and Shannon, police say they've gotten tips on this case within just the past 2 months, a handful of which they've been able to act on.
Yeah,
what they
me too.
need to crack this case is for someone who has intimate details of the case to come forward.
She was a kid. She was a good kid with a great heart.
Even the kindest of teenagers can be a little defiant. 15-year-old Ashley Ouellette was no different.
There was a time she got stranded in Massachusetts, which she wasn't supposed to be there.
Her uncle,
Thank you, Alma.
Dennis LaHoulier, took care of her even when she made a mistake.
She used to call me all the time for rides, except for that night, which kind of bugged me, and has for 22 years.
That night, February 9th, 1999, Ashley had gone to the home of her friend,
For the most
Aaliyah
part.
Page, for a party and sleepover. At
I'm
some
looking
point,
for some drama.
She left the home to go visit
I
other
know Graz
friends.
has my
Two
back.
brothers, Stephen and Daniel Sanborn, fellow classmates at Thornton Academy. At the time, police said Daniel was the last person to see Ashley alive. During the initial investigation, police searched the Sanborn family's home and one of their cars, but police have not publicly named any suspects.
In this particular case, we have a
Yeah,
great
Joe, I thought it might have been weird, but I was like, you know what? I have
persons
free
of
time.
interest,
Maybe there's
a
some
few
people
suspects,
who need to
that-
occupy
that
some
are
time. Let's go
probably
live.
more of a higher
So,
priority
yeah,
for
thank you.
us.
Police have focused on a window of time between 12:30 a.m. when Ashley arrived at the Sanborn home in Saco and 4 a.m.
Hey, Unruh.
when a driver found her in the middle of Pine Point Road in Scarborough.
That's a
That's what I'm
3.5
talking
hour
about,
time
right there.
span. Those are the two locations we are continuing to concentrate on and the time span that we're working on.
But how she got to Scarborough, when she was killed,
No,
and
my wife
why,
doesn't give me
all
any
remain
drama.
a mystery.
The police station.
Back in 1999, Ashley's father tried to explain how the family was coping.
It's just been a nightmare, and there's no way to describe it.
2 years after her murder, Ashley's father died of a heart attack, with no answers, only theories. But even then, he was asking the public to share what they knew about that evening.
Out there, I appeal to everybody. If it's children, if you know anything, please come forward.
22 years later, the same plea, but with new urgency from the police and Ashley's family.
And there's people out there that know what happened and
Thank you, Joe. Same.
say nothing. They probably have kids of their own right now. What if this happens to one of your kids? You gonna want somebody to say something? Wait 22 years and tell me how you feel.
He was broken completely.
There is a $20,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest in this case. And coming up, we're going to tell you about the tips that state police are investigating and some new tools they're using to help hopefully make an arrest.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad story there. Yeah, Mandy, she's a good woman. She doesn't stress me out at all. If anything, I stress her out. I just stay, everything to me is just relaxed. You caught that Omicron Persei 8 virus? Yeah, Gross. It's really good to have you here, man. I hope you're having a good day. There were some people here specifically to ask some questions for Delphi. So let's jump right into it. This video right here has generated more emails than I've ever received. For some reason, it never dawned upon me to put the filters on and record it in slow motion. So I've captured all these images where you can kind of see a hand and it's kind of gripping something, what appears to be like a pistol, possibly. Even right here, you can kind of see the shadow kind of peeking out. But we'll play that. And if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about regarding Delphi, that's what this rest of the live is going to be dedicated to. We may shuffle the deck if we get to that. So we can start diving into this now. I'll pull it up on the big screen here. Now there's really two anomalies with this footage. You could focus, excuse me, and you can focus on the waist area, or you can actually focus on the head, where you can kind of see the cigarette, how it appears elongated. If you're focusing on the face, you'll notice it. Just keep watching and you'll see it stick out. It's kind of like a spike, a white spike. What that is it looks longer because that's where his motion stops and then retracts. So it makes his cigarette appear much longer. So you'll see it as he's smoking it. And while he starts shuffling with what I believe is his gun, he kind of tells himself, okay, I'm done with this cigarette, spits the cigarette out, and he starts fiddling with his weapon. Like he's trying to get it he's trying to get a better handle on it. His clutch isn't quite where he wants it because he's probably just kind of hiding it, stuffing it, or pulling it out of a bag or pulling it out of a large pocket. So we're going to jump right into the chat. Like I said, call-ins are welcome. If you want to call in and ask a question, you don't have to hang out or do anything. You can just call in and ask a question, and we'll do our best to answer it. Yeah, it could be a cigarillo. In my opinion, it's just a roach or a butt of a cigarette, or possibly even something that he was just chewing on. But looking at a lot of these images, it does appear there's some type of foggy smoke, specifically around his left shoulder area. Yeah, he seems like he might be around 5'8", 5'10" in this video. Maybe taller. I would say anywhere between 5'8" and 6 foot to be safe. Yeah, I think this person does everything high. That's why he's so confident. He's like, we plant, and to me, he looks like a person who's planned it. Like he's walking with confidence. You know, he's smoking a cigarette, handless, automatically. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I'm the kind of guy, like, if I'm out hanging out with my buddies at a bar or something, you know, all of a sudden I become a smoker. You know, but I could never see myself walking around with a cigarette and not choking. So this is somebody, but it's different. Yeah, maybe when I roll up a joint or something, I guess it is different. Smoke's different. It's not as smoky. But I really don't know. I just know that there is something in his mouth. And eventually he spits it out. So right there, you see it, spits it, gun shuffles. So it's almost business time. He's like, okay, we're getting close. You know, let's spit out the joint or whatever it is in my mouth, cigarette, whatever. Let's get the gun where I need it because I'm getting close. Then boom. Okay, here we got some questions. Public art critic. Her or him. I don't know why I assumed you're a female. Is it weird? Sometimes I feel psychic like that. Like I just know that you're a woman. I don't know why. If you're not, please correct me. I apologize. Question. The search was called off. For me, this was a huge red flag. Do you know of any similar searches that have been called off? No, I haven't. I know the official search was called off, but people didn't stop searching. People were searching way into the night. Like Mike Patty, I think he went home and slept for a little while, and then at 3 a.m. he was up again. And I think he was in some kayaks or something, looking up and down the creek area. But it's just frustrating, you know, but hindsight is always 20/20. I always say that. Because if they would have found them or they would have turned up the next day totally fine, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But yeah, I mean, you can't just have people running around, you know, woods or whatever. Stumbling down hills and breaking their legs. But yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate, especially when you hear the rumors that one of them may have survived late into the night. That's a little disturbing, but I haven't heard any verification on that information. So, but yeah. And anybody in the chat, if you have more information you want to add to that question, we're going to kind of go to each question now and see what we can do as far as getting them answered. Merry Christmas to everybody just joining us. Appreciate it. Yeah, I like her videos. Julie Melvin is one of the first YouTubers that I was really watching. I think it was like Gray Hughes, just local news, and then Julie Melvin. So that's who I would kind of look at. Then that's when you had the Michael Cats pop out and the Greenos, and then it started really kind of getting a little more popular. There is rumors of a cigarette butt being pulled from the water and bagged. So I'm not sure. Well, Truth Bomb, it just helps create a profile. So, I mean, if you're suspecting somebody and you know them not to be a drug person or a smoker or somebody that has fixations on chewing things, this probably isn't the person you're looking for. So all we're doing is finding clues. He definitely has an oral fixation. There's something in his mouth and he spits it out. And why is he, before he's committing a crime, if you didn't have an oral fixation, you wouldn't have anything in your mouth. You'd be focused. But no, that makes them comfortable. So it's important for the profile. It's just a piece of information. Put it all together, man. Likes or some good questions. Because I know there's some people that have a lot of, like, if you're watching my channel, you probably don't have too many questions about Delphi. You're looking for new information, breaking information. So sometimes we forget to kind of give everybody the basics. So let's keep playing this video. Well, I do know that there are some shacks out there, but I don't think the shack reference is in regards to the shacks that are found in that location. They could be, but I mean, if that was a piece of your information as law enforcement, it's not very tricky to use that reference to refer to the movie and the book and for Kelsey to continue talking about it. I don't see them being that forthcoming with that type of information. I mean, they're basically, if there was a shack involved, they're basically telling us that. That doesn't seem very smart for law enforcement. But then again, you never know. I did hear that dogs were called. I've also heard that when they finally showed up, they were called off. Basically, they were search dogs. I don't know if they were dogs that were trained to, to potentially find another suspect or something like that. Like I said, they made a lot of mistakes. They weren't ready for this type of thing. And me and Graz and people, we've talked about the fact that the dog should have stayed. It maybe helped, but who knows? They have their reasons. I'm not an expert with dogs. I don't know what they're trained to do. I don't know. Searchers may have influenced it. I'm really not sure. It'd be nice to get some answers about the dogs, knowing that they are extremely helpful in missing person searches, and also, when somebody's escaped or if they're looking for a certain individual. But I also know that usually when there's dogs involved, they have a source. So, I mean, if they don't have a source for this killer, it'd be kind of hard to give the dogs an idea of what they're tracking. So maybe that plays a part. I'm not sure. Let's take a look here. Big E says, I've been watching videos and there's a lot of speculation that BG is either related to or close friends to law enforcement. So with that, he could stay one step ahead, always based on inside intel he's around. I mean, that's possible. That kind of gives a little bit of weight to why we haven't found the killer. But the truth is, there's really nothing that says that. That's just kind of like speculation to how somebody could get away with a crime for so long. But with the new evidence they released, we really don't know what law enforcement thinks, and we don't know if somebody's in there corrupting the evidence and things like that. So there's just nothing that says that, in my opinion. Yeah, there is a shack. It's a little bit further east down Deer Creek, on the south side. Yeah, there's a shack there. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything, but it's definitely fishy. I don't know, Gross. He would have to know. He would have to have some type of inside information relating to the dog, or else what would he be reporting? Unless it was like a tip, like, hey, I seen these guys leaving February 13th. They had their dog with them. I don't know if this tip helps, but that's the information I can provide. I mean, if it was done like that, that would definitely make sense, because then they could tie the dog in with the witness account. So it may not put you at the crime scene, but it puts you, why were you with the victims? That'd be hard to explain in court. Yeah, but I don't think that this killer was out on the trails. Like, I don't think this is somebody that parked anywhere. Like, he may have parked at the CPS building, or that could have been where they just abandoned the vehicle. You know what I mean? They could have been on that private drive the entire time with a stolen vehicle, parked the stolen vehicle at the CPS building and got into somebody else's car and then left. Because I do remember law enforcement stating that the vehicle was abandoned. So it's confusing with the word abandoned. I always, if they plan to do a murder, you think they would just go get a stolen car and just leave it there. So maybe they're getting evidence from the car. I don't know. But the people that lived, the home where the private drive led to, I believe nobody was home at the time. I think they may have been snowbirds, from what I understand. So if people were using their private drive, nobody would know. But nobody ever talks about that. I mean, the private drive goes right underneath the bridge, right where the girls were at on the south side, possibly led down the hill. The private drive is perfect. So even if the girls were taken and then later dumped, to me, why not there? Why is that impossible? Yeah, I don't know. I just know that Doug Carter said that we have a human element and we have a science element. So to me, that says whatever science element they have, it's unrelated to the human element. That's just my opinion. Merry Christmas, worldwide crime. Yeah, exactly. So there's either I think there's a second person or possibly a dog that can be seen coming up from behind the girls. So I think when you see this bridge guy walking, he's there either to meet the girls, and it's possible the girls even set up the meeting. Like, hey, if you want to meet somewhere, we're going to meet you on the bridge. That's their turf. We can see you coming. Just walk across the bridge. We'll know you're alone, and then we can kind of chat it up with you. It's 2 verse 1. But them not knowing that the killers possibly already knew that area, and they were like, sure, you know, that's a perfect place. And then they set the trap. Yeah, it's funny. Before I started my YouTube channel, like personally, I'd reach out to Kat and we had great conversations. But the second I started my YouTube channel, he just didn't like me. Maybe he thought I was like Derek Gotze or something. I don't know. Yeah, that was a weird chuckle. But can't judge too harshly. Yep. Even accepted my friend request from like years ago. It's kind of crazy. All right, we'll take a few more questions and we'll close it out. I don't want to spend too much time here today. Just wanted to kind of meet up, hang out for a little bit. Yeah, like the Scream Killers, some teenagers. Very possible. Mandy, I think they were communicating with the killer. I think that Klein may just be, he may be our bridge guy, but he may not be the mastermind or the person who killed the girls. He could have just helped facilitate it, which could still get him the death penalty, I think. But then again, man, you don't know what causes people to kill. The same thing that makes people kill is the same thing that makes them think they can get away with it. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. You can't explain that psychopathy. It's like an ego. It's like the killing is like, it's almost like buying a Harley for some of these killers, I think. Oh, I'm going to, you know, my life's going good. I'm going to do this, 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 and that. And killing 2 teens is just happens to be on that list. Because to these types of people, it's gratifying. They get, you know, it's better than anything. It makes them like God. You know, the way most would feel getting a Harley Davidson, these creeps, that's how they feel after, you know, they take a life. Yeah, I thought it was odd too for them to be out there on the trails like that. I didn't know if they were trying to maybe show force, like let the public know, like, hey, like, yeah, there was a killer on these trails, but now look, it's filled with cops. I don't know, but I did think it was a little strange. But it was also strange when they did that one press conference in that guy's church. And that guy ended up being like everybody's POI. And then for him to say, you know, the killer might be in this room, and then they asked that certain person like to run the film. It is a little eerie. But I mean, there's nothing there, in my opinion. Yeah, could be getting them all mixed in. Yep, almost like it would be worth it. When I was younger, I was real wild. I wasn't afraid to spend a couple days in jail or weeks or months. It wasn't until I got a family that I stopped doing that kind of shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the killer. You know, after they were done, he was like, "Hey, man, I know you got it all recorded. Make sure you send it to me, but make sure you send it on Dropbox." Or after the killers did it, they knew that they had something that on the black market was worth a lot of money, and they sold it and then transferred it on Dropbox. Mm-hmm. But it is a little cryptic. Yep, that's true. This bridge guy could be somebody who was just an accomplice, and then somebody that they blocked out coming from behind could be the actual killer. Yep, non-secular signatures. Yep, it all makes sense. I'm telling you, I'm 99.9% sure there was another person involved, and law enforcement know it. They have his face. They know who he is. They're watching him right now. They need Klein to confess and become a witness, but if he does, he could be facing the death penalty or life in prison. They need to give him a deal, and I hope they did. Especially if he didn't commit the crime. I don't mind him spending the rest of his life in prison, and then we can put this guy, potentially to death for the murders. I'd be okay with that. Yep, and you'll never hear law enforcement ever admit that the bridge guy is the same person that we hear. And it also is the reason why we have two sketches, because after talking to Klein, they already have that gentleman. They're like, hey, we have this person. We don't need to keep promoting his face and keep promoting him. We have him. We have enough charges. When we're ready, we will charge him. It's the other guy we need. So that's why they changed directions. It's because the same point in time that they changed directions was the same point in time that Klein decided he was going to be cooperating with them. Doesn't mean they're going to continue to cooperate. I don't see the connection. I think the only reason people bring up the Flora fires is because they feel a lot of guilt because it involves black families. But the truth is, they weren't abducted, and there was adults in that home that failed to rescue those kids. So that's why I don't like giving too much attention to Flora. I feel people bring it up out of guilt, honestly. Oh, welcome. Where did I see you? I seen you recently. Did you drop a comment or something? Welcome, Faye. me keep playing this video. You guys are killing it in the chat. I was getting ready to bounce out of here, but yeah, keep with the questions. We got Real Chill Graz in here. We got Mandy. We got all these people that can actually answer a lot of your questions. We got Unroyal, Teresa. So, I mean, right now, if you have some questions, this is a really good time to get them out there. Like I said, you can call in the link. I think I posted the link. So if you want to call in and ask me some questions and ask the chat directly and kind of take center stage, hey, you don't have to hang out. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to share your name. You click the link. It'll bring you in here to StreamYard, and we'll play you up there. You can ask anybody in the chat a question. You can ask Roz. Yeah, whatever you want to do. So let's finish up here. This one is directly for Graz here. It does seem like an alibi could be the problem. Surely there's more than that, though. How pitiful would it be to let a false alibi be the only thing standing in the way? Yeah, that would be pitiful. And once again, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So if they can't prove it in court, they don't want to kind of waste their shot. For real, Faye, let's hear it. I'm all ears. Public art critic. She's been given some good questions and comments here. She says, I get that, but watched a video that suggested huge corruption issues. It's such a small town. Surely there must be more powerful hierarchy. I mean, I guarantee there's small-time corruption. And it could be involved, but I just don't see anything that points to that. Now, from what I know in regards to Flora, yeah, there's shit ton of corruption there. There's a lot of questions about that. Yeah, I think Anthony's going to be okay. I think he's fine. He's going to be just fine. Yeah, I mean, I think he just shared too much with his audience. Invited them in. Me, I don't play that. Like, you bring out some weird stuff in me if you start doing that to me. You wouldn't like it. Yep, it's definitely possible. Yeah, especially after looking into the Delphi case and seeing how rampant it is, like all this child porn and this catfishing, and like I really wonder if there's other victims, because usually these catfishing cases, sometimes these predators will go out of state. You know, they'll drive all night. They'll drive 600 miles, commit the crime, and then drive right back. Somebody could say, hey, you know what? This guy looks like the bridge guy, but he lives 2 states away. There's just no way. Plus, I saw him in the morning. You never know, man. There's people that have driven for murders wearing diapers. They wear diapers so that they don't have to stop to go to the restroom, and then they speed the entire way. That way they have an alibi. So in court, people say, how could you possibly make it to this location, to that location in under 4 hours? You know, even though it's possible, it's not likely. I think there was a case of a woman who went and committed, I don't know if she actually killed this person. I think it was an attempted murder, but she was actually an astronaut and she wore diapers. Like I'm telling you, when people want to kill you, they're gonna figure out a way to do it and not get caught, especially if you're smart, like an astronaut. Yeah. She almost got away with it too. Oh wait, what? Wow. I wonder if that's the people that they try to contact or some of the people that came forward. That's crazy. Yeah, it's like a cooperating witness. Sometimes you don't even have to cooperate. You just have to agree to like let them track your information. And it's funny because early on in the Delphi case, I remember there was some discussion in regards to Kelsey and law enforcement like monitoring, like almost like she created all her online stuff in hopes to draw out the killer. If I ever had like 5 minutes with Kelsey, that's what I would ask her. I'd be like, hey, were they really tracking? Were you guys really expecting this person to kind of reach out to you on social media? I'd like to pick her brain on that. Yeah, it was crazy. That was her alibi. She was like, how can I drive, something that takes 6 hours within 4 hours? So it was just like just enough reasonable doubt. But then she messed up somewhere else where she got busted. She's lucky that the person didn't die. She's lucky. She'd be spending the rest of her life instead of 50 years. Fucking idiot. No, like right there, that little part where it kind of goes black. I used to think that that was a sleeve, but I really think it's just editing. It's the editing that kind of merges with his jacket and certain shading that's happening. So it kind of looks like a grayish, because you can see on his right shoulder, see how it's kind of lightish gray in that image. So when they edited it right there, that kind of bleeds into that. And it kind of appears to be like a grayish jacket that we all, associate with Abby. But I don't think that anything is captured there. I think it's edited out. Because at this very same moment, in my opinion, it's the best shot of the bridge guy. It shows his younger looking face. It kind of shows the outline of his nose and his chin. And it shows a slimmer person. So I think what they did was they edited out whatever could be seen coming in on his right side, so that they didn't lose the best frame that they had. And it might be the best frame because that's when, if somebody was coming out from behind them, that's when Libby and Abby would just stop in their tracks and they would be still. So they may not be moving anymore at that point for just a split second and get that good frame. It's just a thought. NASA, NASCAR. You got to be, NASCAR drivers, man, they don't need to stop. See, Mandy, I keep hearing about something pinging. How could something ping at the CPS building? You know what I mean? Like if they knew something pinged at the CPS building, they would know what it was that pinged. You know, you can't have, I don't think you can have one without the other. You can't know that it's pinged and then not know what it is, because the ping would hold the information to what it was that's pinging there. That's what I always thought. So I don't know. I keep hearing about that. It seems like another one of those rumors, but I'm not sure. If anybody can, you know, bring forth any more information. I've been hearing a lot more about it lately or recently. No, I get you. It looks like somebody walking. It even looks like maybe Abby's shoulder. But what I'm saying is that's not what it is. If you look at it closely, what appears to be some type of coloring, almost like a peach color mixed with a darker gray below it. When you look at it for the first time, it looks like the side of it, like a hoodie or a jacket mixed with some other coloring that is known. You know, it looks similar to what Abby might be wearing. But if you really analyze the image, that's not what it is at all. In my opinion. I need to start getting in the habit of doing that. Hey, Anna, Merry Christmas. Yeah. I think they know. They're just waiting for anybody to bring forth information that connects to what they know. You know? So if you keep tipping in information, you know, I think it's easy for them to shuffle through it now. They're like, okay, no. They're just waiting for that one person that uses the right name, the right words that they're looking for, and then boom, it's all over. And it may already be over. They may have enough to proceed. That's what I'm hoping for. But just because you have enough to proceed doesn't mean you can't have more, you know, to strengthen your case. So let's say you're prepared to move forward, you know, with charging Klein in the murder and you don't have the second killer. You no longer need that evidence secret because you're already moving forward. You're not collecting anything new. You drop the new information in hopes to gain something more. Yeah, that was Great Hughes' problem. Yeah, when we get these guys, or it's complicated. I'm not saying that the person on the bridge is the voice that you're hearing. It's all complicated. It's like a movie. You know, all you see is what's here. You don't see what's on the left and you don't see what's on the right. It's like, okay, so what's on the left and what's on the right? Another person. Think about it. That would be the perfect setup. Somehow organize a meeting on the south side of the bridge. And there's part of me that thinks the girls may have chosen that spot. That could have been what they thought was their territory or their safe spot. They may have underestimated these killers. Yeah, he's like 60 yards from what I understand. So he's blown up quite a bit. That's why sometimes it's good to look at it like as a smaller image. Sometimes you can see it clearer. Yeah, and I don't think they're looking for a car. They asked for the driver. And they also said that the car was abandoned. So if it's abandoned, that means that they may have the car. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like me, when I was a teenager, I was a criminal. I was a smart criminal. I never got, well, I did get caught eventually. But whenever I did my criminal activity, well, first my criminal activity started with stealing cars at the age of 14. And then we began realizing that now with the stolen car, if we went and stole clothes for school or went and did stuff like that, people couldn't catch us because we were in a stolen car. So you got to realize if this murder is planned and there's an abandoned vehicle involved, there's chances that when they planned this vehicle, they had a stolen car. Okay. And that might be part of their time crunch. If they're telling the girls, hey, we got to meet you here, we got to meet you here at a certain time, and they're like, well, you need to meet us at the bridge. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. But they know the bridge. Alrighty. Mm-hmm. Well, also when they say, hey, we're looking for a driver of a vehicle. So maybe, and from what I hear, the vehicle may have been backed in. So, and there's also talks of there being two vehicles. So you can have the getaway driver and an actual registered vehicle. Then you can have the stolen vehicle that's about to be dumped. That doesn't make much sense. But then again, maybe the stolen vehicle, maybe had an issue. I'm not sure. But I could totally see somebody coming up, having plan A, B, and C. Like, okay, if we need to take the girls with us, or if we need to do this, or we need to do that, we have our stolen vehicle. But now that the deed is done, we no longer need that vehicle. We'll just, we'll jump in with our ride. And why couldn't their getaway driver be on the private drive? I mean, think about it. Isn't that the best place to be? Nobody's going to see you on the trails. Nobody's going to see you coming and going. You just simply pull up on the private drive, jump out, and then whoever's driving the vehicle goes and parks at the CPS building, just waits for a call. So the stolen, just picture this. Bear with me here. Killers steal a car. They set up the scene and wait for their victims. They have the vehicle parked on the private drive. After they commit the murders, they run back into the vehicle that's parked on the private drive, and while their getaway driver is waiting at the CPS building, they abandon the stolen car, get into the getaway car, and they're gone. Merry Christmas, Miss Jeanette. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to do a deeper dive into that. As soon as Delphi's done, there's a lot of cases I want to get into. Evansdale is definitely one of them. I'm looking at that Ouellette case. It is unsolved. So, yeah, I can't wait till this is done and we can just put it behind us. Yep. It's possible. Well, that depends, brother. Yeah, there is a conspiracy theory based off of that about how nobody can come forward, that nobody's seen them. But you got to remember, there was some news reports early on where they actually were on the trails and they were interviewing people that were part of a memorial that was going on. And there was a teenage girl there. You know, I don't even know if legally they could have interviewed her. I mean, maybe it's different for media, but they walked right up to her, probably 13 or 14 years old. And they asked her, like, hey, do you know the girls? And she said, yes. Like, I was supposed to meet them out here. Like, all our friends were out here. So they could have all kinds of witnesses or people that mention the girls being out here. But if they're minors, you can't really bring that stuff forward or talk about that. You know, you want to keep that stuff private. So there could have been all kinds of witnesses. And the girl, you know, any girls hanging out with them could have been like, hey, they walked away. Like, we told them we had to go. We had other plans. And they were like, no, we're going to meet somebody here. And we're going to do this. And we're going to do that. We'll talk to you guys later, you know. Well, if you go to my YouTube channel on my About page, you can see my email address. Shoot me an email. I'd love to take a look. All right, I'm going to go through just a couple more. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Don't ever doubt the Grozmaster. All right, we'll hang out for a minute or two. So anybody that had a question, you know, get it out there. Connect to who's PB? Is that Pat Brown and Anthony Shots? Nah, man. I don't know where you've been hanging out. You need to stop hanging out with what's his name? Templeton. Don't get caught out there. Oh, he was there. He lives there. Could have just as easily have been his property the bodies were found on. See, morning. That's strange. So weird. This planet is getting small. Yep. Miss Jeanette, I just can't get past it. I just can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, I hear a lot of talk about the thermal drones. Every time I try to look into it, it's just, I can't verify anything. It's just like, it's all such and such made this statement, such and such made this statement. I don't have like a video of the drone operator going, well, this is what happened and this is what took place. Yep. Then we are here to help. Groz is a good source of information. Not only that, he just has the resources when it comes to people who are really into the Delphi murder case, who have a lot of information. Now, he has access to a lot of those people. Mandy too. She's real good. She, I've come to respect her quite a bit. I always admit when I'm wrong, and there was a couple times where she kind of set me straight. So I appreciate that. All right, getting ready to get out of here. Oh, Harvey, what's up, Harvey? He says 2 minors claim to have seen them at the cutie park. Weird. Also, allegedly, a stolen white truck. A lady thought her father was BG. 2 rabbit holes. We went down. Interesting. Yeah, because you think vehicle abandoned, and they're not looking for the vehicle. They're just looking for a driver. Something about the word abandoned makes me think that they took all the information they could off of whatever vehicle was there, and they just need to know who actually was driving it. Yeah, anytime you want to come in and ask questions, like, look, now we have Harvey Carroll in here. We have Real Chill Graz. We have Mandy. There's just a whole bunch of people in here that can give you information that you need. Because we never really go over the basic information. Most people that kind of tune into my channel, they're kind of past all of that. And they're recovering echo chamber victims. And they're slowly trying to crawl out of that. Oh, and respects to the drone. Drone guy say no. He said he spent most of his flight south of the bridge towards the Erskines, where Abby's family lived. Well, there you go. And even Mike Patty didn't spend much thought when it comes to the southeast section of Deer Creek. He started pretty much at the bridge and went towards the city, or the town. I guess it's not a city. Oh, hey, Carol. Good morning. Hey, it's true. Oh, yeah. I agree. All right, let's finish up the chat here. Carol just showing up. Let's see what she's got to say. See? I don't know that. Nobody abandoned the CPS building. They didn't just abandon it. Yeah. It's just not in use. I don't think they would say abandoned CPS building, because it's not like they just abandoned it and left it like it was some kind of ship sinking. But now a car is something you abandon. You leave it and you walk away. A building, you can't really walk away from a CPS government building. Like, eventually you got to do something with it, like they eventually did. It's not like an abandoned home where people can just walk away from it, Yeah, that's why I don't spend too much time on the theories in regards to the truck. I couldn't verify any of it either, Harvey. So that's good work, man. See, if you have any questions, Harvey will give you the information that you need on all of the basic misconceptions that people overlook. They'll go ahead and base all kinds of information off of something that was just a misconception from the very beginning. Keep it simple. Yep. Merry Christmas, Harvey. That is correct. Yep, that's all he could verify it, but was suspected till 5. Peace out, Tamara. Yep. All right, guys. Well, we are going to get out of here. I really appreciate everybody who showed up. Harvey, thank you. Graz, Mandy, all my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I'll try to stay busy for you guys. It's what you can expect moving forward. Something similar. Merry Christmas to everybody, and we're gonna call it a night. Thank you so much.